This film is about your decision to have sex. It's confusing. Most adults tell you not to try it. Others do their best to sell you sex with TV, music, and commercials. But what they don't tell you is that people are being hurt. There are no adults in this video, and there's no preaching. Just teenagers like you and me dealing with sex the best way we can every day. Whatever you choose may not be easy to live with, but it is your decision to make. It will affect the rest of your life. It's not easy being our age. We're all trying to make it through school, please our parents, deal with our friends, and have some fun along the way. We all want to be liked and loved, but sometimes we make the wrong move for the wrong reasons. The end of the story can be sad. Studies say about half of all teens are sexually active. This also means 50% are not having sex. Are they all nerds? Can't they talk anybody into it? Why have they chosen to postpone sex?
I can't believe all the stuff I have to pack, and I'm actually going off to college. This never would have happened to me if I would have got pregnant.
When I was in junior high, everyone was having sex, or so we thought. But as I've kind of grown a little bit older, I've seen that not everyone does have sex. And another thing that I've seen is that sex isn't always the beautiful thing that it's made out to be. It's not always pretty, because there's a bunch of bad things that go along with sex, including the diseases and all. And so sex isn't always as great as it's built up to be.
I've seen so many people get hurt from the decisions that they've chosen to make. They choose to have sex, and really they don't know the consequences. But then there are people who've chosen not to have sex, and they're a lot more confident with their decision, and a lot more confident in their relationships. I think it's a great decision to make, and I've made it myself.
My boyfriend and I have been going out now for 2 years, and we made the decision together that we weren't going to be sexually active. And then one thing that helped us a lot was that our friends weren't, and not everybody is. And the decision that my boyfriend and I made has made our relationship a lot stronger and made us a lot closer.
I have a hard enough time being responsible for myself. I couldn't imagine being responsible for a little child. When I have a child, I want to give it my best, but right now I couldn't do that. That's why I choose not to have sex.
I'd much rather be working and making car payments or saving for a prom dress, that sort of thing, than buying formula and diapers and just living hand to mouth week to week, hoping that I can survive, hoping that I can get my baby fed before me. And I know my boyfriend would much rather be working and saving money making car payments than child support payments.
Working here at the daycare, I'm around children all day, and they're a lot of fun, but I realized at this point in my life I just couldn't handle the responsibility. And my mother was 15 when she became pregnant with me, and around the age of 30 or so, she decided that she wanted to go back and live that life that she didn't get to live. And of course, me and my sisters weren't included in that teenage life, and it really hurt.
You don't want to be 14, 15, have to quit school and get a job and try to support a family when you're that young. There's just no way that you could do it.
Buck is a senior all-conference linebacker. Guys on the other team don't like to see him coming. He's a leader on the field and off because he likes to help people. To be able to go to college, Buck needs a sports scholarship. He wants to become an architect, but dreams of being an NFL player one day.
My contribution to the football team and to my fellow teammates is do my job, play 110%, give it what I've got, and hopefully they give what they got, and we win the game. Well, first, the position I play is linebacker. You got to be mean to play that, and I wasn't too mean my sophomore year. But Coach Pendergrass kind of made me mean, made me to where I could play. Well, my family hadn't been perfect. My mom's been divorced. My dad, don't know where he is, don't really care. I've had a lot of hard times. My mom raised me and my older brother by herself. She's the one that told me everything about sex. And me and my mom's real close. If I have a problem, I can talk to her about it. I don't have to go to anybody else. How I feel about guys that pressure girls into having sex on a scale of 1 to 10 is mainly a 0. It should be a two-part thing. With the guy and the girl situation, the girl shouldn't be pressured. Should be married before they ever have sex. Be all right to talk about it so nobody gets mad. But the main thing is just to wait until you're married to have sex. Be abstinent from it. It'll keep your relationship cool. What I've got to say is what I've got to say. I'm not going to try to keep it from anybody. But freedom of speech, everybody's got it. I'm going to say what I got to say. If nobody likes it, they don't have to listen. The best thing is, don't get in a situation where you would have sex with any person. It's hard when you get in high school because you're pressured with a lot of things, not only sex, but drugs. People think when you come to high school, you've got to drink and do drugs and have sex to be in the in crowd with the jocks and the preppies and all that, but you don't. There's groups like that, but then there's also groups that are not. If you're pressured in one group, then you shouldn't be hanging with that group. Get in a group that suits you. Be yourself and not try to be something for somebody. Just don't put yourself in a position where you could have sex. There's a lot of STDs, gonorrhea, syphilis, AIDS. It's the main thing that you can get from having sex. The one thing is, if you're going to have sex and you get a girl pregnant, just think of the consequences you're going to have to pay. You may want to go to college and play football, go to the pros and play football. It might be a dream, but that dream can be taken away in just 5 minutes of sex. Don't do it just because your friends are doing it or something like that. That's stupid. It's a stupid reason. Don't be pressured into doing any kinds of drugs. Just be abstinent from sex. Don't put yourself in a position where the pressure's on you, male or female, to have sex with somebody. And if they're pressuring you into it, to have sex, there's no reason to be with that person. A true friend won't pressure you into doing anything that you don't want to do. Well, everybody says it's the way the ball bounces, but your ball don't have to bounce that way. It can be whichever way you want it to be. If you want to abstain from sex and not have sex, that's your prerogative. That's been mine. Sex is not a thing that you have to have, or it's not a necessity in life that you have to have it to live a life. Live your life the way it should be lived. Pure and simple. Just be yourself, have fun, and just stay away from the main thing, drugs and sex, and you'll be all right in life.
Adrienne has loved music since she was a little girl. She's worked hard to become the section leader of the clarinets in her high school band and now has a collection of music awards. In the last 2 years, she's been honored as the most outstanding sophomore and junior musician at her school. Adrienne stays busy giving music lessons, spending up to 2 hours per day practicing, and trying to stay on the honor roll.
It relieves my frustrations. It's music is emotion, and I'm very emotional, so therefore I like to play my music. In 5th grade, the band directors from Van Buren came around to the 5th grades and tried to recruit, and I decided I wanted to play the clarinet. So I did it, and here I am. I have been invited to travel to Europe, and I just got back a couple days ago from Disney World, and our band and jazz band played down there, and I really enjoy it, and it's got me a scholarship to college, so I'm gonna stick with it. I want to travel and be in a symphony and work in the business world, and you can't do that if I was to have a kid now. High school sweethearts and junior high sweethearts, I mean, it's not forever, and I find a lot of times people really regret what they do. You know, it may at the time seem wonderful and great, but that's just for then. You have to think ahead. You know, you have to think of the future too. A lot of times teens can be hurt, and they're hurt in a lot of ways. They can die now because of AIDS. They can get all different types of sexually transmitted diseases. Not only that, it emotionally can scar someone for the rest of their lives. People feel the pressure from other kids to do it, but not everyone's doing it. I'm not doing it. The people in this film aren't doing it. People are waiting.
I mean, they need to realize that. So I think a lot of people are changing their sexual habits. Well, I hope to think they are. I mean, a lot of my friends are. The biggest concern I have is AIDS. I am scared to death. 12 million people in the next year are going to get AIDS, and I am determined not to be one of them. And I just emotionally don't think I can handle it, not yet. A lot of times, junior high kids see movies and stuff, and they think, you know, they need to realize that stuff's, you know, that's not, it's just the movies, it's all made up. Oh, in the movies, everything has to be great, hunky-dory, you know, everything's wonderful. In real life, people die of AIDS. That's all I ever hear anymore. So-and-so died of AIDS. Guess who has AIDS, you know? Someone thinks she has AIDS, you know, but if you practice sexual abstinence, you won't have anything to worry about. There is no safe sex. A lot of times, guys don't really care how a girl feels. They just want you for one reason. And if you wait until you're married, you won't have that problem. You'll know he loves you, because he's not going to wait that long. The easiest way for a girl to say no is just say no. I mean, N-O is no. And if the guy cannot respect you for that, then he's not worth having around. Guys have this macho role, which drives me crazy, but a lot of times they might do it and they won't let their emotions show. But I think in the long run, it's hurting them just as much as it hurts the girls, and everybody needs to realize that. They may feel pressure from their guy friends, you know. If a guy's friends are pressuring him to have sex, I mean, that happens every day. But if you don't want to do it, just stand up and be a man. I mean, I think the true definition of a man is someone that can respect a woman enough not to make her do something she doesn't want to do. Some advice on dating, just off the top of my head, would be a lot of times to stay out of the situation where the sexual pressure's on. I've come to realize that if I'm staying strong, people respect me more for what I do. Also, if you don't give in, people realize, hey, you know, that girl's cool because she won't do what you want her to do. She'll be herself and make the right decisions. You just got to find it within yourself. I see a good future in my life. I mean, I'm going to make something of myself someday. I'm going to be able to give, if I ever get married, give the man I'm going to marry a great gift, you know, give him me. Believe it or not, this may sound weird, but I think it's made the relationship between my parents and I stronger. And I know if anyone was to come up to me now and ask me, you know, I'm thinking about having sex, what should I do? My first response would be, you know, what a question. That's kind of stupid, you know. Think about it. If you know, be smart about what you're wanting to do. I would tell them how emotionally, you know, it's just not worth it. They just need to wait.
Tasha was a good student in the 8th grade when she got pregnant. She was only 13 years old. Today, at 15, she's pregnant again, living with her parents, cleaning the house, and taking care of her first child, Stephanie. Tasha was unable to return to school.
Stephanie, she's a handful, but, you know, what I really like about her is, you know, she teaches me a lot more than probably what I teach her, you know. She's taught me how to love a little one like her. She's taught me a lot with patience and, you know, especially with responsibility and growing up. If I feel bad or something, she's always like, she knows it and she hugs and kisses me, and it makes me feel real good. I met my husband at school, and the first time that we ever did anything, I became pregnant. It was just, I didn't expect it, and I never thought that it would really happen, but it did. I guess the second time I got pregnant, it was like, I don't know, all of a sudden he just sort of, you know, wanted his freedom and stuff, you know, and he just wanted to be like a teenager, and he wanted, you know, all of that freedom back, and he didn't want to have to worry, you know, that he's got to make sure he goes to work, you know, make sure the bills are paid, make sure the baby has what the baby needs. You know, I live with my mother, and it's, I take care of the house while she works because, you know, she has to work most of the time. So I mostly do the housework and the laundry, and I take care of Stephanie, you know, I feed her and bathe her and everything. And most of the time I take care of supper or something like that, you know. I didn't go a whole 9 months with my pregnancy. I went 7.5 months. It felt like I was in the hospital, and I was always on drugs, taking so many prescription drugs, rather, because of, my physical health. And I was in and out of the hospital constantly. That's one reason why I had to quit school, too. They tried to stop my labor, but they couldn't. When I went into labor, because they was afraid that her lungs wouldn't be developed. And when she was born, her lungs was developed, but they were not strong. She had to stay in there for like 1.5 to 2 months. They kept tubes on her. She couldn't eat. She didn't know how to suck a bottle. They fed her most of the time with tubes, and they kept having to give her medicine because of her, the skin disease and all that. And she had a lot of problems. I think she was up to 6 months, and she still looked like she was a newborn because she couldn't develop and grow right because of the premature birth. She was just so tiny. I never thought she'd be normal, but she's fine and healthy now. Taking care of a baby is like probably one of the hardest things that a teenager can do, because you have to learn so much all at once. Plus, everything is taken away from you. You got to worry about yourself and the baby, and that's one thing that's really hard, is taking care of it and yourself, especially when you're a teenager, because you want to be a teenager, and you can't. Having a baby, you just can't do that. You just can't get up and go like you usually do. You basically do stay at home so the child is stable. You got to make sure that it's always, the baby's always got to be first. No matter what, the baby's always got to be first, and that's just part of being a mom. Part of being a parent anyway, is making sure that child is the first thing. I thought it would be a lot different. I didn't think that it would be nothing like it was. Raising one, being so young, is really hard, because you're a kid yourself, and you can't hardly take care of a kid being a kid. That's what's really hard. I lost practically all of my freedom, really. I couldn't go out and be with the friends and run around town and do most things. My friends, a lot of them looked at me a lot different. They just kind of dropped out because I couldn't do the things that they did. I wasn't able to go out and have fun and be able to spend nights with them and stuff like that. It was just a lot different because I was married and I was pregnant, and I wasn't able to do all the things I was able to. I mostly lost all of my friends. I see them, but they're still not like they used to be friends. With my husband, we really did love each other and all that, but being married and tied down and everything, you just kind of, like you hate each other now because of everything. It's each other's fault. I think that it was really hard on him, and that's the reason why he left. In my future, I see I could see 2 kids, and I'm hoping that I can finish school and make a better life for my kids. I want to, every day I try to do maybe something to make myself a better mom, a better person. I want to make something of my life. Still, I don't see another guy or anything. I just see mostly just me and my kids, and maybe a better life later on. That's what I see. I dream that maybe one day that all these teenage girls, that they would learn, that nothing's like it seems. I would have waited, but I wasn't real careful, and I wound up being pregnant twice because I wasn't real careful. I would have definitely waited to even have sex with anybody, until I was married, and I would have probably stayed away from people that I know to stay away from now. I would have definitely finished school and definitely done what I wanted to do first, and then got married, after I had my career and everything and got my freedom and all that stuff. I probably would have done all of that first, and then worried about a family and, being married and all that. I think I've missed probably about the funnest part of my life, to really think about it. You got proms and friends and running around, and you don't really have anything to worry about. Everybody says, you have a lot to worry about being a teenager, but you don't at all. You have nothing to worry about compared to when you get older. Be a kid, you don't need to grow up so fast, Be a teenager and live your life out. I want everybody to look at these kids that are having kids and look at all the problems and everything and think about it, because that could be you, even though you don't think it is. It will be if you ain't careful.
1 year has passed, and in that time across the United States, 1 million teens became pregnant. 3 million contracted a sexually transmitted disease. The future was not sure even for the people in this film. Buck injured his knee during a football game his senior year. The torn knee ligaments required surgery, and Buck's dreams of going to college on a football scholarship came to an end. He's now working and attending a community college where he concentrates his energies getting an education. He's determined to succeed without football. Adrienne earned her academic and music scholarships to a college where she stays busy keeping up her grades. Lately, she's tempted with the idea of becoming a math teacher, but is trying to keep the dream of traveling with a large orchestra alive. A recent trip to England made her want to travel even more. Tasha gave birth to her second child, Ashley, in November. Both mother and baby came through the delivery well, and they all live with Tasha's parents. Tasha realizes more and more that being a good mother means putting her kids first. She's tried to return to school, but right now being a mom takes all her time and energy. She still dreams of getting an education and having a career, but those dreams are on hold until Stephanie and Ashley are a little older. Meanwhile, the cycle continues. 50% of all teens have sex, and half are waiting.